Broadcasting live on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Here's your host, Andrew Romanella.
Okay? Just get the hell out of here. Nobody cares what you think if you're not a Mets fan.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome into a Tuesday edition of The Rome Show. We broadcast live on YouTube, Twitter, X, Instagram, and Facebook. I'm your host, Andrew Romanella. I got you for the next 35 or 40 minutes. It's Tuesday. It is 48 hours before Santa Claus comes to town, and we have so much to talk about on the docket today. Monday Night Football last night, a shootout between 26-year-old Brock Purdy and 45-year-old Phillip Rivers, something I did not have on my bingo card December 22nd, 2025. It is Tuesday, which means hockey with Rocky. We are stoked to talk National Hockey League with our favorite hockey reporter. Andrew has his National Football League top 5, which we have to get through. We are heading into week 17. I know, wild to believe. Christmas Day kicks off week 17 in the National Football League. And we have news and notes from around the sports world. The Rome Show 1, Instagram, Twitter, X. Follow, like, comment, do all of the things. YouTube.com/The Romanellas. That's YouTube.com/The Romanellas. Go ahead and hit subscribe there. That's our favorite content dumping location. And OG social media site, Facebook.com/The Rome Show, to finish the pleasantries for the people on a Tuesday. If you haven't, find one of those social media handles. Look for the green or the red social media post. Go ahead and share that post, okay? Make sure you're following our sites, and at some point today, we will reach out to you if you are our Rome Show Christmas contest winner. We've had 5 to date. Today is our last one. Today's Rome Show Christmas giveaway is following the social media, resharing the green or red post, and Andrew will reach out to you with your winnings. Hopefully, a lot of people are trying to win the Rome Show gear. We got hoodies, which I've showed on the show already. In 2026, we will be dropping snapback hats. Oh, yeah. Okay. You don't want to miss this. Black, white rope, neon green. Oh, you know what? I've given you too much. Let's talk about sports. We're going to start in the Major League Baseball, because the New York Metropolitans have been on a fire sale recently with the players that have been the foundation for them over the last 6 to 8 years. And yesterday, the Mets continued on their path of moving on from players, a part of a core that have been entrenched in Queens, let's call it, for the last decade. Jeff McNeil, the latest victim of the Mets front office looking to reboot and redo what this roster looks like heading into 2026. The kicker here, how badly the Mets want to change this roster, was shown yesterday in the trade with the Oakland, Sacramento, Las Vegas Athletics. Jeff McNeil was essentially handed to the Athletics, and a pile of cash was given to the Athletics. That's how badly the Metropolitans wanted to move on from McNeil and continue to start anew in 2026. This includes now a list of longtime Metropolitans, starting with fan favorite Pete Alonso, draft pick homegrown first baseman Pete Alonso, then going to best closer in the league, possibly best closer in the league, Edwin Diaz. Brandon Nimmo actually got this entire thing started, but those other two are loved just a little bit more. And now you have Jeff McNeil. And the four names I just listed off, outside of the fifth guy, Francisco Lindor, who's most likely not going to get moved because the contract he has, that's been the core five players for this unit for a minimum of the last 4 years since Francisco Lindor got here. And the crazy part about it is this build started with Nimmo. This build started with Alonso. This build started with McNeil. Then came Edwin Diaz. Then came Francisco Lindor. But at the end of the day, the current front office of the New York Metropolitans does not believe the team in 2025, or as currently constituted heading into this offseason, is good enough to compete for a championship, especially when you're staring down the barrel of the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Philadelphia Phillies. Just start there. We haven't even entertained the other quality teams in the National League, let alone the good teams in the American League that you'd have to actually beat if you got to the World Series. So what's next for this New York Metropolitans team? I don't know, okay? I can't tell you that I fully believe in the plan. I feel like there is a plan. I feel like the Mets top brass knows what they want to be doing. I don't know if they know what to do, if that's the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do. But nonetheless, I believe they have a plan. I believe the Mets have a plan. Now, whether you believe in that plan, whether it's the right plan, whether it's a good plan, that's a whole nother conversation. But if you're looking around saying, what the hell is this team doing this offseason? It's pretty simple, team. They don't believe in the roster they have. And it's the old adage that I actually do believe in. If it's not working with you, it's not going to work without you. Or better yet, if it's not working with you, we at least have a chance for it to work without you. And I think that's the underlying message here for the Mets fan. Yeah, I get it. I don't want to see Pete Alonso out the door. I don't want to not hear. I don't want to not hear that. Getting ready for a save, or sometimes feels like a blown save, whatever. Still best closer in the league. I don't want to not hear that. Those are the things the last 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years that have made me a Mets fan, that have kept me a Mets fan, that have kept my passion. Those guys, those players, their actions, what they've done. But sometimes it's time for a change, people. And the best organizations know when to crumple up that piece of paper, throw it into that little trash can, and say, that was not it. And that's okay, because no organization is at 100%. I am going to reserve judgment. Like any new coach or new boss I've ever gotten in my entire career, I am going to reserve judgment. I am going to wait till June 1st to tell you my grade on the offseason for the New York Metropolitans, because there is a long way to go here, ladies and gentlemen. There are still some players on the board. There are still moves that can be made. And the thing that is the X factor to finish, you're not in that locker room. You're not in the clubhouse, at the practice field, in the pregame warmups. You're not on the team plane. You're not traveling with the team on the bus. So though from the outside looking in, we know these players' names, we know their productivity, we know who they are, we're like, how can we get rid of these guys? The facts are the facts. You're not inside of that building, so you don't know. Okay? This could be the greatest decision ever. We could have finished that season at 162, and every person in there is like, please, God, get rid of McNeil and Nimmo. You don't know that. And maybe it is Lindor that's the problem. It could be Juan Soto that's the problem. I'm not saying that that's not the case either. I'm just stating that we're not inside of that building, and therefore the reason why the front office is making these decisions is something. So whatever they believe in, now has the direction of the New York Metropolitans headed this way. And if you're a Mets fan, just strap in. One, everyone's fair game. But also, two, it's going to look different. It's not going to be exactly what you thought it was going to be. It's not a built-in excuse to start hating them again. It's not a built-in excuse to believe they can't be good. They didn't make the playoffs last year with these players. So, what's better odds? Run it back or change some things. Or spend your money differently. Or see if you can build differently around Lindor, differently around Soto. Maybe, just maybe, that's actually the right decision. Do not get caught up on the names right now, Metropolitan fans. Get caught up on the future of the franchise and where it is coming from last season. I understand 2, 3, 4 years ago, we're fighting for the World Series. I got it. We're in Milwaukee. Pete Alonso's hitting a huge homer. We're losing the NLCS eventually. I hear all of those things. This is sports, man. As easily as that could have been a jump off for the next 10 years, is as easily as that could have been a one and done. That was a mirage, a blip on the radar. That was a minority, not a majority. That is equally as possible as it is possible that that could have been the start of the Mets dynasty. William Folly T4C writes in, and it seems to be, by the way, that William Folly T4C might not be a real human. This could be a robot, ladies and gentlemen, because this is the third straight day he's written in, "Sir, know that Jesus loves you," with the praying hands. And I really appreciate it, William. I do. All right. But if there's anything else you'd like to write in on the show, maybe like who Jesus' favorite team is or how he feels about the Mets moves, that would be awesome as well. You want to write in like William, youtube.com/the Romanellas, Twitter X, Instagram, The Rome Show 1. You can write in and get live on the show. Some other news and notes from around the sports world. Last night, Monday Night Football happened, and it was a good one. Okay, the score did not dictate 48-27 final score, that is, does not dictate what this game was if you watched this football game. It's a two-part conversation, obviously. Two teams are playing, but it's a drastic two parts. One is this ball of the San Francisco 49ers, who we did not know what was going to happen coming into this season. I've made this comment before about the Niners. Every year we come in, they have a mass amount of injuries, dudes holding out. It's like, what's going on? And then somehow, some way, they either compete good enough to go to the Super Bowl or they're right around 500. They don't make the postseason. That's what it feels like in the John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan era in San Francisco. More winning than losing, more better football than not. But there's always something in the water in San Francisco, whether it's a holdout or an injury or a coordinator getting hired at another job. It never seems to be exactly what we expected it to be in San Francisco. And this year, more so than ever. Besides the fact that you had the holdouts and the crap you're dealing with, you then have Brock Purdy get hurt like 2 or 3 games in. And then Brock Purdy started a chain of dudes going down. Kittle, Warner, bang, 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 bang. Guys are just down. And you're like, what is this Niners team? Well, while Purdy was hurt to the early part of November and all of these other guys had to get themselves back healthy, Mac Jones and the crew kept this team afloat. And then Brock Purdy came back week 12, and the San Francisco 49ers have won 5 straight football games. Brock Purdy has thrown for 13 touchdowns and only 4 interceptions, with the culmination last night against the Colts, where he did the only thing that only one 49ers QB's ever done on Monday Night Football, which is throw for 5 touchdown passes. And now all of a sudden, got to clean up some stuff on D, because old man Grandpa Rivers was kind of lighting up the Niners for a little bit there. But nonetheless, this 11-4 football team, it doesn't just look like a good football team. It doesn't just look like a good offense. They win their next 2 football games. They're the number 1 seed in the NFC. What? Huge. And they got a tough schedule remaining, including a game against the Seattle Seahawks and a game against the Chicago Bears. Two other teams with a path to that number 1 seed in the NFC. The Niners, a lot of people have been talking about the Rams and the Seahawks. The Rams are my vote for who I believe could win the Super Bowl. But do not sleep on the San Francisco 49ers team, especially with the type of football Brock Purdy's playing right now and the swag this team has because of what they dealt with all year. And oh, by the way, no one's really talking about them. The second part of this conversation is the Indianapolis Colts, because at one point in time, the Colts were 8-2, ladies and gentlemen. Daniel Jones was on his way to a comeback of the player, the comeback of the year, MVP type, whatever award you wanted to give him. Resurrection was happening for Daniel Jones. The Colts looked like the best team in the National Football League. They had the best running game in the National Football League, and then Week 11 happened. And now all of a sudden, the Colts are 8-7. They have a 1% chance of making the postseason. Phillip Rivers is their quarterback, and they can't run the football anymore. They got injuries all over the place, especially on their offensive line. And now, what do? Okay? Because you bring Phillip Rivers 5 years after retirement, out of retirement, to play the last 2 weekends of the year to try and keep your season alive. Yet, now the season is pretty much dead. You have a rookie in Riley Leonard behind you. Clearly, Phillip Rivers is not going to be the future. What was it all for? And I get it. Rivers is slinging the rock last night. He gave you a tantrum. Your defense is atrocious. I don't think this is a Phillip Rivers problem. Your defense is atrocious problem. Saw some reports that Phillip Rivers was screaming and yelling at the defense after I came out of retirement for this. I don't disagree, man. Like, I get it. Purdy was elite. Kittle was elite. But for the first 8 to 10 weeks of the season, this is one of the best defenses in the league in Indianapolis. One of the better. Let's put it that way. Not best, better. And now you can't snap a nosebleed? You can't force a punt? So what's next for the Colts has to be a difficult decision. It's most likely Phillip Rivers is released today or tomorrow. Riley Leonard's your quarterback moving forward. They might not release Phillip Rivers, but there's absolutely no reason in starting him. I don't care if you have a 1.8% chance of making the postseason. It don't matter. Final thought on that. I think it helped, and credit Joe Buck for putting this thought in my mind last night while I was watching the broadcast. I do believe it helped Phillip Rivers in terms of long-term Hall of Famer type stuff. I really do believe that. Okay. Maybe it didn't look as great on the grass. They went 0-2. They didn't win. He threw a pick six last night, kind of ended the game. Not really his fault, but his fault. All those things. But the positive that's been spoken around Phillip Rivers since he came back has been off the charts. I think that's going to go a long way for him 5 years down the line, even a farther way than it does now. And by the way, he's now changed the recruiting class of quarterbacks he's going to be judged against when it comes to the Hall of Fame. That could also bode well for him. So we'll see. Very interesting. Here's the playoff picture, by the way. Nothing crazy. A lot of things you expected. This is the NFC. The Lions have the worst chance, and the Panthers and the Bucks, your only chance right there is to essentially win the division or have an insane drop-off with the Packers, which is also very possible. You can see the Seahawks, the Bears, and the Eagles. Seahawks, Bears, Eagles, Rams, and 49ers all have a chance at the 1 seed to a degree, but the two best chances are going to be the Bears and the Eagles. In the AFC, this is what we got. Best chances for that 1 seed are going to be, how about the Steelers at 91%? It's going to be schedule and all the other things that win the division, everything else that plays into it. Okay. And then you go from there. A lot on the line for the Ravens going into next week. Who would have thought? We have hockey with Rocky Day. We can't even get into the Ravens and Harbaugh and not giving the rock to Derrick Henry and all of those other things. Quick note, DK Metcalf suspended 2 games for punching a Lions fan in the face. In my opinion, he should be suspended the rest of the season, and then they should decide whether or not they want to bring him back to play football next year, because that is loser behavior. You're a professional football player. And because a guy's calling you by your government name, everyone calls him DK. I guess the guy figured out what his real name is. You walk over and punch him in the face, essentially, just loser behavior. DK Metcalf suspended the 2 most important games of the season for the Pittsburgh Steelers. How about them apples? We take a commercial break, come back with our guy, Rocky Romanella. We get to talk hockey. That's so exciting. Jack Hughes returned for the Devils. The ECHL players are going on strike. Sidney Crosby broke the Penguins record for points and so much more. We got a minute and 15 seconds on the commercial break. Then Rocky joins us. Stick with us here on The Rome Show, Tuesday, December 23rd, 2025.
What is one thing every great leader has in common? They challenge their people to not stop at the first right answer. Titan Malugnuts is a leadership book that will teach you how to move past the first right answer with entertaining and detailed examples founded in real-world concepts and experiences. Accelerate towards your professional goals with Titan Malugnuts, one of the best leadership books available.
Now, inside the glass, hockey with Rocky.
Hey, what's going on? Time to light the lamp. I was reading the article on the ECHL because you had me stumped there.
Welcome to the show. How we doing? Surprise, we're here. How's life?
I'm doing great, man. I was just listening in on all the football talk and all the Mets talk because I read the top 10 most aggravating MLB franchises from 2025, and the Mets came in at number 2, so that was timely.
Really? Let me hold on. The number 1 most aggravating franchise since 2020, you said?
Yeah, there's an article on ESPN.com yesterday. MLB Aggregated Fan Index, the 10 most frustrated fan bases of 2025.
Wow, that's hilarious. 2. I got to guess the Pittsburgh Pirates are up there.
Pirates are number 3.
I got to guess. You know what's messed up is for some reason I have a feeling the Yankees fan's going to be up there. I'm not going to guess that, but I could see the Yankees fan being up there.
No, they are not up there.
All right, let's go with the Angels fan. How about
Angels are number 4?
Okay, let's go. Okay, so we got 2, 3, and 4. Who the hell's number 1? The Oakland Athletics.
The Oakland Athletics are not on the list.
What? Okay, they're in 5 different cities in 3 years. All right. Oh man. All right, they're not the Royals. They won a World Series.
How about I give you 10 through 6, and then you just have to figure out who number 1 is.
All right, got it.
Because you've already got 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Number 10, Boston Red Sox.
Okay.
Number 9, Cincinnati Reds.
Okay.
Orioles.
Chicago White Sox.
Not on here, but they should be.
All right.
Colorado Rockies. I think this is more like
fans.
I mean, the White Sox have been bad for 4 years.
Yeah.
5
forever.
years, you know. Colorado Rockies. I mean, the last time the White Sox were good, it was the Angels in the outfield.
Yeah. Yeah. Or that random 2005 World Series, I think.
San Francisco Giants.
Interesting. Okay.
Number 6. Number 5, perennial playoff team. Famous for a number of different reasons. Middle of the country.
Middle of the country. Cleveland.
Typically
Guardians.
No, typically known for actually having like a really great, like from like rookie ball all the way through MLB system. And like
Kansas City Royals.
You're like literally in the right part of the country. You're just in the wrong state.
Well, all right, give it to me.
St. Louis Cardinals.
Oh, no, wow. That was going to be my next guess for number 1. That's probably why.
Number 5.
Okay.
Number 1, a state not known for baseball, but known
Seattle
for
Mariners.
No, not known for baseball, but known for lakes.
Michigan. Detroit Tigers.
Hockey.
Detroit Tigers.
No, you're close.
The Minnesota Twins.
Minnesota Twins, land of 10,000 lakes.
There it is. All right. I'm actually pretty proud of myself that I was able to get 2, 3, 4 off the jump, but you're right. It is a fan index. It's not necessarily what we might think of as
Correct.
the worst
Correct.
franchises. That is all. That's a great list right there, Rock. You know what? Good teaser for the back end of this show. We're going to give you our top 5 National Football League teams. So make sure as you stick with us here through Hockey with Rocky here, you'll find out who we believe our top 5 NFL teams are. All right, Rock, are you ready to roll here?
Let's do it.
All right, word. It is time for Rocky's rundown. Let's get into it. Rocky, the floor is yours.
Keeping it quick today because I have a challenge that I want Andrew to issue me. So I want to debate that or discuss how it's going to happen. But pretty quick, couple of trades. Mason Marchand traded from the acquired by the Blue Jackets from the Kraken for a 2nd-round pick and a 4th-round pick. Montreal Canadiens get forward Philip Deneau from Los Angeles for a 2nd-round pick. And Philip Deneau is not really producing, but he's got promise. He's on a big contract. It's like Rangers. Like, why couldn't you have gone and made that deal? So dumb. Those are your 2 trades. Tristan Jarry, a part of the big trade from last week, has already been injured for Edmonton, so sucks for them.
And they was 3-0 in net for them too, by the way.
Someone might need to find a live chicken to fix the goaltending increase in Edmonton. Is it more exciting that Jack Hughes is on the ice or that Tate McRae is in the stands watching all of the games?
Wait, you had Tate McRae there. And did you also know you had Paul Skeens and Livy Dunn? When did New York become cool?
Dude, it's all about the Rock. That's all I'm
It
saying.
is.
It must be something in the name. It's
something-
4 special letters.
That's so good.
Yeah. Must be something in the name. And so my big final rundown here is the exciting Christmas and New Year's Classic. The World Junior Classic starts Friday, December 26th. Team USA will be playing Germany that day. They are in Group A, where they will play Sweden, Slovakia, Switzerland, and Germany in the round robin. Top 2 teams from each group will move into the quarters to see who will win the gold. The U.S. is coming off back-to-back World Junior gold medals, which
All
is
right.
pretty exciting.
Here we go, USA.
Big note about World Junior Classic that I don't know if you knew,
No, talk to us.
but there are 10 teams every year. And after round robin, the teams ranked 9 and 10 will play each other, and the loser will be relegated to the U20 championship every year.
Really?
Yeah, I know. I
Wait.
didn't think you knew that, but I love relegation. So
Wait, that's fantastic.
yeah, and then the winner from the U20 gets moved up. So
I just don't care what sport it is. I don't care what you tell me. International soccer has always had it right, because if relegation exists, though not every sport may be set up for it, some form of you get penalized for sucking. Because in American sports, generally you don't get penalized for sucking. You actually get benefit.
could you imagine if the New York Football Giants had to play in the USFL next year?
That'd be awesome. The XFL, dude, that'd be great. Imagine it's like, you gotta play in the spring league, dude. That's it. Unfortunately, that's what it is. You watch the documentary Wrexham, right?
Yeah, of course.
The best part about that documentary is less about Ryan Reynolds and Rob Mack, and it's more about talking to those players and like hearing like how important it is to go from one level to the next. And then you find out there are like 9 relegation levels in international soccer. You could be playing below semi-pro international soccer as a pro quote unquote team because you've gone relegated that far. Like that is
professional men's league.
That's exactly right. That is exactly right. So did not want to tangent that too much, but dang, do I love the idea of relegation.
And there's your quick and painless rundown. Crosby passes Lemieux. We talked about it before it happening, but he is literally just ticking off records at this point.
Dude.
All around records, like the all around. This is why I'm the best player in the game.
So you take a look at the graphic on the screen, 645 goals, 1,079 assists. Real quick before we move on, can you just give a quick note we talked about this a little bit with Wayne Gretzky, and obviously not as many people around to watch Wayne Gretzky's career. But I think we get enamored with Sidney Crosby, and anyone. We get enamored with goal scoring. Of course we do. People love goal scoring. But Sidney Crosby's best attribute is also not goal scoring. It really is the all-around play. And I think that is noted, Rocky, in the nearly 1,100 assists he has in his career.
Yeah, think about it this way: like he's a part of 1,700 goals because the assists are goals.
Right. Exactly
Right,
right.
so he is scoring. That's why people are like leads the league in scoring is leads the league in points. Leads the league in goals is leads the league. I mean, like so there's like,
Makes
points
sense.
leader. So there's that. I think the other thing to note when you look at Crosby breaking Lemieux, I actually think that the thing people miss is that Lemieux, I mean, it took Crosby 20 years to catch Lemieux. Lemieux, between his back injuries and his cancer, like didn't play that much. He was scoring at a higher points per game clip than even Gretzky for half of almost his entire career. So if Lemieux was healthy, could he have been better than Gretzky points
Yeah.
wise? And it's very possible.
That's such a great point, and it's almost when you talk to a lot of hockey people, if you were like, yo, give us a Mount Rushmore of the 4 best players all time, there are a lot of people that are going to have that conversation about Mario Lemieux being in there. And it's like the Barry Sanders thing. If Barry Sanders doesn't retire after 9 or 10 years of football, he's clear and above the greatest running back of all time, and his numbers probably say it also. He just
No doubt
stopped at 30, and Mario Lemieux was unfortunate with the things that happened to him injury wise.
he was like, I'm not gonna play the games that these modern running backs are gonna play. I get it. It's 9 years. I'm done.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm playing for the Detroit Lions during the worst iteration of the Detroit Lions. I'm good. By the way, I got a quick stat for you before you play your game. I saw this yesterday. I was like, Rocky of all people is going to appreciate this. The Oilers are 4-0-0 when a goalie not named Stuart Skinner or Calvin Pickard is in the net this season. And though you're right, we might need to burn a chicken because Jari's now hurt. How about the fact that Ingram hops in there, wins his first game between the pipes, and simply put, it looks like that was the right decision.
Absolutely. Listen, just a change in personnel. Sometimes all you need.
All you
One
need.
guy.
All right. We are talking with Rocky Romanella here, Hockey with Rocky, on a Tuesday, December 23rd, 2025. We're 2 days away from Christmas. Hope you're having a happy holidays out there. Remember, The Rome Show 1, Twitter, X, and Instagram. Find the green or red social media posts. Reshare. Make sure you're following the Romanellas on YouTube as well. And we'll be giving away at some point today our final December Rome Show Christmas giveaway. Rocky, what do you got for the people?
So being that the New York Metropolitans since 2015 have fire sailed every one of my favorite players. And because the New York Football Giants continue to absolutely just make me wait another year every year, and because I've seen 4 GMs in 10 years, and
Not good.
because tangent real quick, 15-second tangent, if you are a professional analyst and you think that the Giants should trade Jackson Dart for Fernando or for the Indiana guy,
You just
I
stop.
think that you need to have your license revoked and officially suspended for the remainder of your career because you're
You'll
done.
be losing your fanship card.
So for these reasons, I am preparing myself for New York Rangers disappointment, and I don't know if I've ever been this not optimistic about a season
I am mind
in my
blown.
life.
The fact that you haven't worn like a Rangers hat in like 4 weeks, you haven't worn like a Rangers hoodie. I can see
I
it.
wear my Rangers hoodie a lot. I wore
No,
I
mean
wear
on
my
the
Rangers
show.
hoodie like last week. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Anyways,
It's a feeling.
I want you to give me rules for I want to pick one team from each division and then a wild card because I won't pick one from the Met because
Okay.
I'm not in that dire of straits
Okay.
that I can cheer for the remainder of the season. And like I get those I got to get 4 out of 4 into the playoffs. Now, if I went today, I'd pick the Red Wings, the Avalanche, and the Ducks. Now, I personally believe that my own fanship and the way I've talked about these teams on the show allows me to cheer for them. However, all 3 of those teams are in first place right now. So I'm like, I got to have some checks and balances here.
I agree.
Andrew needs to throw in some parameters.
Yes.
So Give me 4 teams to pick, one from each of not my competing division plus a wild card spot. You come up with like why I have to choose them or what it is, and then we can maybe we'll make selection that like I'll cheer for the year.
All right, so here's what I
Something like
got.
that. What do you think?
Four teams is a lot. I think we just choose one other team from the
Okay.
East and one other team from the West.
Oh, that makes
Like,
it easier for me. Okay,
it's a
great.
lot. You got a lot going on there. It's the holidays. You got kids. It's year end. I don't know if
It
that's
is. It is, but it's mid-year. Yeah. So go ahead.
it's
Selling
half.
season.
It's midterms. No. Okay. All right.
It's selling season. It's the playoffs.
All right. So I'm going to go one team from the East and I'm going to go one team from the West. So luckily, I actually have the standings of both sides and the wild card. So let's do this. Here's your Eastern Conference standings. As Rocky just stated, Red Wings are at the top. The Lightning are trending in the right direction. It would be too easy for me to have Rocky pick the Panthers. We're avoiding the Metropolitan. So right now, for me, the leader in the clubhouse is the Buffalo Sabres. Why? Because they're Western New York. They're on a 6-game winning streak. This is the best. This is the best they've ever played. And I don't even know, Rocky, if I care that they make the playoffs. I think you'll just have fun being in that area. I mean, when's the last time the Sabres won 6 straight games? They're making decisions. It looks like it might have worked. They might need your fanship. That's the leader in the clubhouse. That's the Eastern Conference. Let's go to the Western Conference. All right. Here's your Western Conference. Now we're going to avoid the Avalanche. I think that's too easy. Okay. I'm good. If I'm going to think about giving you the Sabres on the East, I'm going to give you a top echelon team on the West. One team that you've talked about a lot in your time with me is the Dallas Stars, actually. Like, if you go back on the record the last 2 years, you've been a big time supporter of the Dallas Stars. Am I wrong?
No more Peter. Well, I never liked Peter DeBoer. So now that he's gone, I think I could get even more behind him.
You could get even more behind it, right? Okay. You mentioned the Ducks on the Open, which I think would be a pretty good one. Okay.
Well, there's just a lot of Rangers.
Right. Exactly. And then on the flip side, because you did say, though, that you don't know if it'd be fair for them to be a number 1 team. Once you started talking, I'm like, I can't give them the Oilers because they went last year. But who is like Oilers adjacent right now? And I'm like, well, maybe the Kings, because
the Kings have lost to the Oilers for the last 4 years in a row to the Oilers in the first round. Yeah, no, I like the Kings.
Right. Okay. So those are the teams I've so far thrown out. Give me your kind of thoughts and vibes on that, and then I'll make a final selection for you.
Oh, we have to choose today. I can't come back and choose next week.
Oh, you want to come back? We want to make this like an exercise.
Yeah, I'm gonna take your feedback. I'm gonna think about it, and then I'm gonna go pick a team because I think I know what I'm gonna choose now.
All right, so here are I'm going to give you 2 in the East, 2 in the West, 3 in the East, 3 in the West. Like, what do you want?
No, I'm good. I like your rundown. I appreciate it. I can respond. I'm going to respond to it, and then I'm going to choose.
All right. Well, really quickly, just so the people have an idea of what the actual wild card situation, because I just realized we put up the standings, and I wonder if they were like, well, if this team's in 6th place, what's it mean? Well, honestly, and Rocky mentioned this last week, this is the East right now. We'll pop up the West in a second.
7
points. Close. It's so close. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Every day I look at the standings, Rocky, and I'm like, it is crazy, because I bet if I go back on my screenshots from like a month and a half ago, the change in what this would look like would be off the charts.
No, and the problem is that it's so much mediocrity. It's just so much mediocrity. It's not like it's so much good.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I looked at the football standings and I'm like, oh my gosh, week 4. We're like, oh, look at the parity. The season's over already.
Yep. And here's
I don't
the
need
Western
2
Conference.
more weeks. We could have did a 15-game schedule.
Yeah, there's no favorite. And, I think there might be a few more favorites in the National Hockey League, like the Avalanche and some others.
A little bit more, because Nashville can make a run here. I mean, Chicago Chicago is really missing Connor Bedard. That's for sure.
Yeah, they are big time. So those are your standings. Those are your wild cards. If you are a fan of a hockey team in every state of the United States and just not Toronto, you should be feeling really good about your hockey team right now. The Leafs, though.
Tough for the Leafs.
It is tough for the Leafs. Rocky, I only had 2 other things for you here today, okay, before you get out of here. One was the Leafs right there, okay? 35 points in 34 games. We've kind of mentioned them being bad. My question is less about their team play and more about their head coach, Craig. I think his name is Berube. Okay. What's his deal? I feel like I don't know enough about him. Is he the right guy? Is there a coaching change coming? Like, What do you see there in Toronto right now? I mean, they
Craig,
lost
Craig,
Marner. That was a huge
Craig,
loss.
Craig Berube's only in his second year,
I know.
and he is the guy that backstopped and led the Cinderella St. Louis Blues from last place January to the Stanley Cup championship, Stanley Cup final, and won it.
So you're hoping that could stay. Flip the script. Maybe you get another little St. Louis
Uh,
Blues in you.
Listen, the thing that no one wants to talk about in Toronto to me is that Austin Matthews has never been able to continue to make the core that's around him
Better.
the core that wins. I mean, there's always been a deficiency at D, always like a questionable goaltending situation. So again, like Brendan Shanahan's been there for 10 years. Like this isn't on Craig Berube. Like this is Brendan Shanahan. Like
Yeah.
there's no Shana plan. Like, dude, you have not put the right pieces together. You may have gotten some really good players, but at this point, you're no different than the New York Metropolitans because you've spent a lot of money and you continue to have to let people go, and you cannot make it look legitimate. Like you have never been able to make it look legit. You've always been able to make it look promising. You've always been able to make it look, oh, lead the league in goals in the regular season. But they've never been a full-fledged Stanley Cup contender in any of the years Brendan Shanahan has been in that organization.
Next question. Could this be a Jetropolitans type thing? Because it's not like the Toronto Maple Leafs have ever won a Stanley Cup in my time. This feels like a deep rooted, for some reason, we can't get over a hump scenario just as much as it's the problem of what you just discussed.
Who is okay? So if the Canadiens are the Yankees, who are in the midst of a huge Stanley Cup drought, but have the most championships in the history of the sport, right? Who is the team just as good as the Canadiens historically, or just as much revere, just as much
St. Louis, maybe
as the Yankees, but
Dodgers
just don't have. Well, the Dodgers have turned it around. They've got
Right.
2 championships in 2 years.
right, and
Three in the last however
5.
many.
Yeah,
Right. So no, so they're not the Dodgers. They've got to be like they are like
the
they're
Padres.
just like
They're the
the
Padres.
most disappointing, like the most disappointing franchise
Yeah,
with the most promise out
Padres.
there.
That's my the Mets. They're the Mets. They're
They
the Mets
are
in
though, because like
2025.
I mean, Toronto is like the New York of hockey, and that's the national. They get the most play nationally.
Yeah, if you missed the monologue on the opening, me talking about the Metropolitans offseason, the Rome Show podcast, wherever you listen to your podcast, or the Romanellas on YouTube.
I hate the
where you
Mets.
listen.
I hate the Mets right now.
All right.
It's just that my fanship is just so it's just
You-
it's in dire straits. I'm in dire. This is not good.
Have you ever heard of that statement? You're down bad right now. Your fanship right now is the lowest I've seen in the 35 years I've been on this earth with you.
I'm tired of being an eternal optimist. I cannot and I can't be like old man negative to my teams, and I have to avoid that. I can't do it.
You can't be
I
get
always
off your
think that they
lawn
can make
guy.
it.
Yeah.
I know.
Back in my day, we used to run the rock 35 times, and
No.
it's
No.
it is disappointing. The ECHL Rocky is on strike. I'm going to keep this simple for you, and I'm just going to read a quote that defines the entire problem. Statement from the PHPA Executive Director, Brian Ramsey. And quick note on this, okay? This is like the second minor league in the last 3 years. Minor League Baseball did this recently as well, to start fighting for their rights. Here's what the statement says. Many players shared that they feel disrespected, undervalued, and taken for granted. We are willing to continue discussions to resolve all outstanding matters. For several months, we have been engaged in bargaining with the league. Their unlawful and coercive conduct throughout this process has been incredibly disappointing. We're asking for basic standards around health, safety, and working conditions that allow players to remain healthy, compete at a high level, and build sustainable professional careers. Rocky, before I get your thoughts, it is stated that the conditions or the issues players are talking about are using used equipment, like they're given used equipment. Their travel schedules are atrocious, something about breaks, and then other things detrimental to their development as professionals. Rock, what's your thought on this?
I mean, the likelihood that you go from the East Coast Hockey League to the NHL is extremely slim. So if they want to be if they're if it's going to be that way, then they have to treat the players as an independent professional organization, right? You can't be like, oh, you can get like you can't give them worse conditions because you have a chance to get to the NHL. It has nothing to do with it. Um, I think that when you think about playing conditions in the coast, like it's not just the equipment and making sure that they're outfitted the right way, but like you're on a bus. You're on a bus. You're probably in like the worst hotels.
Yeah, the food, I'm
Like
sure.
it's like I don't necessarily know what the pay is like in the coast, but I think it's so much more than just like on ice equipment and the professionalism of each organization, but it's also like how the players, and you can't sit and tell me that it's because the organizations have razor thin margins, and you
Yeah,
can't
right.
sit here and tell me that the players are bullying instead of bargaining, and you're like, well, no, this is a part of bargaining. You have a set of standards that you want to hit and you don't back down from them. It's called the art of the deal,
Yeah.
and it's obvious that you're not willing to back down either. So what happens is you get to a strike. So don't sit here and say the players are bullying the league. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, that's
Like,
wild. That's wild. And I don't care if you're going to engage, Rocky. This is my belief in any sport into a quote unquote professional league. The word professional is in the title. There is a standard with which that league or those teams need to operate at. I talk about this with independent baseball all the time. Okay, you want to have a professional team and make money on people watching baseball, but you're paying the players $600 every 2 weeks. So do you really think you're going to create an entertaining fan product with that crap? Absolutely not. So it's like, why engage, Rocky, in being a professional league if you're not going to do it the right way?
no, I know. And if you think like, I mean, you're literally two steps from the NHL. I mean, you're double A ball.
Right. That's the other
You're double A.
mind-blowing
Like you
part.
are literally, you're pretty close.
You're
Like you're pretty
affiliated.
good.
Yeah, I know. That's what's blowing. See,
You're the
that's what's blowing.
top three, like right. So there's 1,000 players in the NHL. We'll assume 1,000 players in the A. Like next 1,000, that's you.
Yeah. This isn't the Danbury Trashers. That's not what we're talking about here.
No, we're
That's
not in
what
the
blew my
Federal
mind.
League. Like we're
Right.
not in the Fed. We're not in the Southern Professional League.
Yeah.
We're not in like senior hockey. This is the East Coast Hockey League. I mean,
Yeah.
you are a professional athlete.
Yeah, you are. I had to get your thoughts
You're
on that
getting
because
paid to play.
that's the second time in and I think 5 years, Rocky, that a minor league has stood up to its, I guess, parent league or its governing body or whatever the case is.
The league is run to make money. It's not being run as a developmental league, and I think that's at the end of the day, that's
Problem.
probably really where the argument lies.
Nah, that's a really great point. Man, this has been an electric hockey with Rocky 2 days before Santa Claus comes to town. Rocky, before we let you go, we give you the chance to give your pleasantries. I think you'll be back before the new year, but I'm not positive depending on the schedule. So if you want to wish the people some pleasantries, floor is yours.
We could potentially do a show together before the new year.
We
That's
could.
possible.
I was going to bring the stuff.
That is possible. Pumped that we got the first freeze in because even with the bad weather and the lack of being here, the rink looks great. A lot of leaves, but still rink looks good.
I need a live broadcast from that brink.
Pulled off some pretty cool shooting stuff, and that I'm excited to show you. But
That's
outside of that,
exciting.
Merry Christmas to everyone. I'm excited to give some of the gifts. I can't wait for you to see them too.
I'm amped. Rocky, Merry Christmas to you. We appreciate your efforts here on the Rome Show. The one thing I'll tell you, Rock, before you leave, here's your Christmas present. Our most watched shows are always when Rocky Romanella is on the show. And our most noted shows, this isn't a true analytic, but I think I got this, that people talk about when I leave this studio or go to like the rink or whatever is always, bro, I listened to your brother. That was hilarious. Or, yo, your brother was spot on about that. Because, in the hockey community now, they want to hear the hockey stuff. So that is in 2025, you were our top 3 most listened to shows. Congratulations on that.
Yo, let's go. That's awesome.
That's exciting, right?
And I forgot to tell you about your reach. I ran into a guy at ADP. I used to go to Lebanon Valley with him, whatever. So we're talking about a deal that we're both on, and he's like, Oh, hey, like, do you still do that sports show with your brother? I think you guys used to post it on Facebook. I was like, yeah, dude, we're every week. And I sent him last week's episode.
That's sick.
So yeah, we got Romo for Sabians all over the world. So
Well,
you gotta
since we're
be,
about to be Buffalo Sabres fans, we need Western New York in.
dude, I gotta be honest with you. I don't know if I'm gonna be a Sabres fan. I'm
I don't think
definitely
you can
Bills,
be a Sabres fan.
definitely Bills fan, but
Yeah.
like Sabres fans are a little bit more miserable
Think about
than
how low you've gotten. You just talked about being a Buffalo Bills fan. Now, they're great right now, but just think about if you would have said that 15 years ago.
no, well, it's impossible because would
It's
have.
unbelievable. Rocky, Merry Christmas. I'll see you tomorrow. You have
Ho,
a
ho, ho.
fantastic day. That is every Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen, Hockey with Rocky. Rocky has actually been a staple on the Rome Show for almost the 6.5 year, almost 7 year entirety of the show. We got an NFL top 5. I'm going to do this really quickly. We've been here for a while with the people. I'll give you the top 5, throw it on your screen real fast, and then we will get out of here. This is what we got heading into week 17. The Rams, the Patriots, the Seahawks, the 49ers, and the Jags. Here's my reasoning why, okay? I essentially had the Bills tied with the Jaguars. I wanted to give Liam Cohen, Trevor Lawrence, and the group their due. I think that this top 5 is all BS. That's just a fact. I went back on all my top 5s from the beginning of the year, and they are all over the place. But that's because of what Rocky just said. You missed it, the Rome Show podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. It's parody all over the place. Parody in the National Football League, parody in the National Hockey League. Whether it's mediocrity in sport or parody, I don't know. Either way, it's hard to predict, and I think that's why there's so much ever changing. So the Jags, like winners of 6 straight, I think, beating good teams, just knocked off the Denver Broncos, who were the 1 seed in the AFC at the time, on the road by 14. I'll take the Jags as number 5. 49ers, you saw it last night. We just talked about it. I gave you the stats on Purdy at the beginning of the show. Then the Seahawks, who defeated the Rams. Now, I'm not somebody that's going to all of a sudden flip the Seahawks and the Rams just because the Seahawks won by 1 point in a shootout where neither defense showed up. That's not the case at all. But this Seahawks team is really good. As long as Sam Darnold shows up, doesn't turn the football over, they could beat anybody. The Patriots, big victory over the weekend. Okay, that was another step into proving to the people that they're a legitimate ball club, and then I'm keeping the Rams at number 1. I've been saying it to anyone that'll listen to me. Not that they're the best team in the league. There's no best team in the league, but I do think that the Los Angeles Rams all year, from the jump, for the most part, have been the same team the most amount of times, the most consistent, if I may, and I think they have the best chance to win the Super Bowl. That's my Rome Show NFL Top 5. Heading into week number 17. Here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be taking a holiday break just like most everybody else is. So before we get out of here, we just want to wish you a very, very Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. We will be on live before we get to the new year, so we don't need to do those pleasantries. We are working on an interview with a brand new Savannah Banana, so hopefully we can get Frankie Moscatello, just drafted by the Savannah Bananas recently. I was fortunate enough to coach him for a year in college and for 2 years in pro ball. Hopefully we can get Frankie on here to talk about going to the Bananas at the turn of the year and what that whole experience is like, trying to get some more interviews in the new year. We'll work on that for the people. Nonetheless, we'll see you on Friday. Have a very, very Merry Christmas. Hopefully Santa Claus treats you well. Andrew Romanella, may I say, hopefully that Christmas is electric. See ya in a few days. Peace.